Hey everybody, welcome to the 1804 show, chapter 2. I'm your host, Tyler Will, and this is another episode of 1804 History. Before I start, like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel, the 1804 show, chapter 2. Hit that bell for future notifications, and let's get to it. So tonight, I'm going to be talking about the lynchings of both a black couple that took place in Walton County, Georgia, 1946. And this is pretty much a sad story. It's a story of jealousy, envy, racism. And I told myself that I was going to get to more lynching stories because these are the things that need to be told. These are the stories that need to be passed down. And I do what I do to educate people, especially like the youth, because I have teenagers who watch my channel too. So I just want for teenagers and even us grown folks to know that, we were we were treated badly. It was an unfair advantage back in them days, and we take a lot for granted. And we need to have this understanding of don't nobody owe us anything. Excuse me. And that people have to die in order for us to get to where we at today with opportunities and all that. Because we really just don't appreciate anything these days. So I just hear stories like this, even though it's heartbreaking, even though like it's painful, it must be told. They must be told. And it just pains me and stuff like that, that we went through a lot and nobody was ever held accountable. People gotten off for killing us. Like there's many cold cases like this. This actually is a cold case. This case was never solved. And this is almost like 80 years ago, but was never solved. And we get sentenced to like football numbers for drugs and guns, but people who do stuff like that because they was white, because they had all white juries, they got away with killing us. And it just really breaks my heart that these two couples who didn't do anything wrong, they were just at the wrong place at the wrong time. And we always talk about say their names. So I'm going to say their names. George W. Dorsey. Wife, May Maury Dorsey. And Roger Malcolm Dorsey. And his wife, Dorothy Dorsey. So these are the two couples that got killed. And what happened was Roger was accused of stabbing this white man that he worked for as a sharecropper. The white man made advances at his wife, and he pretty much confronted him, beat the guy up, and got accused of stabbing him multiple times. So he was arrested for assault and having a deadly weapon. So his bond was set at $600. So George and his wife, and then with Roger's wife went to go bail him out. So then, pretty much, the sheriff down there drove him to basically an ambush. So as soon as they get to the bridge, they was met by at least 20, 25 white men with guns. And the leader of the brigade ordered George to get out the car because he wanted George. And they pulled him out the car, put a rope around his neck, asked him, "So you like stabbing white men, nigga? Well, I'm going to teach you a lesson." And one of the women in the car was like, that's not his name. That's not who you looking for. And this and that. So they made her get out the car too. So they got all of them out the car eventually. And then made all of them stand next to each other. Took them to the woods. And they just begging and pleading like, "Please don't kill me. I don't know what you're talking about, but don't kill me. Don't kill us," and stuff. So then they just begging for their lives. So they was like, "Any last words?" And so then they shot them. They shot each of them. And these are 4 people. So they shot each of them over 100 times. Shell casings everywhere. So May was pregnant. She was 7 months pregnant at the time. So they killed her baby with those bullets and stuff like that. And there was an eyewitness. It was a 10-year-old white kid. And he said that he was playing with a friend. So him and his friend witnessed the whole thing. Because nobody willing to come forward. Nobody was willing to testify. So then the local sheriff was just going around asking people, like, "Did you see anything, this and that?" So the white boy was like, "Yeah, I saw it. I know who did it too." So the sheriff told the boy, "Look, come here." He's like, "Listen, I can arrest some people, but I can arrest everybody. So you need to be careful with what you say, because that can mean trouble for your sister, for your mom. So I suggest you keep your mouth shut, because if not, it can be trouble for you and your family." So he said he went 70 years without telling anybody out of fear of retaliation, murder, intimidation, all that stuff. Because he said that he thought that they was just going to get a beating, because he knew that most of them were Klan. Because back then, Klan was the sheriff, the judge, the lawyers, pretty much everybody who was of power. So when people always talk about, "Oh, we not like our ancestors and this and that," but you got to understand, our ancestors was outnumbered. Even though they could have rebelled and stuff like that, they didn't have more guns than the people that controlled everything that was in power. So when you make silly allegations like that, you need to be careful what you say, especially if you don't know your history. But it just be like a lot of people with opinions and this and that, but they don't know the facts. They don't know the history. They don't do their research. But it was tough, because when they eventually got the bodies to the morgue and to do the autopsy, they had to take an axe and carve their chests, because their bodies were so mangled and so destroyed from the gunfire, to the point that They had to take an axe and open up their chests and open up like their limbs and stuff like that in order to get their bodies right for the funeral. And both the men had their funerals together while the wives had their funerals together. And to this day, this crime wasn't solved. And we just need to understand what we up against. We need to understand that when you do stuff like that to people, like you don't have a good life. You know, you don't prosper and stuff like that. And it's just upsetting when you hear stories like this and people go unpunished and they get to live till they're old. And it's not that much hate. And it shouldn't be that much hate in somebody's heart to kill people like that and shoot people over 100 times, each of them. Like they just overkilled these two couples. All they was doing was trying to live their life. And the eyewitness, he said, he asked the sheriff, like, why y'all killed them? And he said to about George that before George went to the army, went to the service, he was a good boy. He was a good nigger. So as soon as George get out the army, he says, well, he thought he was as good as any other white man. So then he said he had to teach him a lesson. He had to stay in his place. Sorry, y'all. But it just, you know, when you read and hear about stories like this, it's just sad. It's just really painful when anybody would do that to human beings, do that to just anyone who, like, we don't ask to be our skin colors. We don't pick and choose whether we black, whether we white, whether we Mexican, whether we Chinese, whether we anything. We don't get to pick and choose, but you just have people who who just hate, who just has this notion to take out innocent people because of the color of their skin. And I just always just can't express being born at a time that I could go to school, I can eat at any restaurant, that I can vote, I can do this, I can do that. But you also got to remember that people had to die in order for all of us to reap the privileges that we reap today. And when you say certain things like, oh, we will fuck you up, we not our ancestors, it's like you shitting on the people who paved the way. And I'm going to make sure that I tell these stories, and I don't care who has a problem with it, because we need to keep these people relevant. We need to keep these people memories floating, because they're trying to wipe out black history. They're trying to change and rewrite history at the same time. And we just have to make sure that we keep these stories and keep these people in remembrance, because they're really trying to get rid of this. They're trying to act like none of this terrorism happened, because it is terrorism. Like, why would you, do some shit like that? So we just gotta understand that we in this together. we in this until the very end, because it's not ending. It's not ending. It's just getting started. Um, it just really bothers me. It bothers me that it be our people who gets mad about um, movies like Emmett Till and talking about, oh, they using us for our trauma and this and that. But they would go and see anything with gangs and drugs, and they would watch that. They would watch Power, and they would watch Godfather of Harlem. They would watch all this other messy, negative imagery. But when it comes to something that really took place, something that's very factual, they cringe. But you ain't cringing off that. You ain't mad about that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's fake outrage. And we need to really learn and grow from the past. And the past has a way of repeating itself, especially if you don't know it. And this is still happening to us. But this time it's the police wearing uniforms and killing us, and then getting military leave, and then our families probably won't get a guilty verdict, so they would take the civil suit. They would take the check. So we need to realize this, man. Like, a lot of people died over bullshit, and we have to take accountability for our part in this genocide, this Holocaust, because this is a Holocaust. But this time, we killing each other. We can get mad about the police and this and that, but they ain't killing us more than we killing ourselves. We doing the most all the time. We hate each other the most. We be happy, we be cheering when one of us go through things, and one of us get attacked. You know what I'm saying? Like, we cheer the loudest. But yeah, it's just unfortunate that these 4 individuals lost their lives because of some cowards. Because you a coward when you gotta shoot 100 bullets into a person. You a coward. I can't imagine what they was feeling. I can't imagine what they was going through. They were scared as hell, especially May, who was pregnant with her child, and then the unborn child who don't know what's going on, don't even know his name, can't even comprehend what's going on, but yet it's assassinated in broad daylight. It's just unfortunate that we have to know about these type of things, but yet the descendants of these people still resonates in American society. But yeah, I'm done with this episode, guys. Thank y'all for whoever tuned in. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. This ain't easy doing this, and it be hard. It really be hard for me and shit, And I wasn't going to read it word for word. Hopefully I covered whatever I needed to cover so you guys can go back and read it for yourselves and, take whatever perception that you want. But I just do this because I love to do this. I love to be active, and I love to educate my people and everybody, because we all need to know about these type of things, you know. And I realize that everybody isn't happy or isn't okay with me talking about this, but I don't give a fuck. It's my show. So like, comment, subscribe. I'm out. Peace.